Last weekend, Bayonetta, former voice actor, called for fans to boycott new game, saying she was offered just $4,000 to work on it. Her Twitter videos went viral and stoked the debate over voice actor wages, but the full story is much more complicated. Whoa, who could have ever thought she was lying? I told you guys, she was sussy when she started to say that like she related to like workers' rights and stuff as somebody who his net worth is like $1 million if you look it up. That's what really started to make me feel a little suspicious about this person. Was she was like, it was cool to be like, hey, they're trying to underpay me. I respect that. Then she's going on talking about how she's basically the common everyday man. You're not. You make a lot more money than what you're pretending that you do. That bothered me because she's like stolen valor of other people who actually struggle because they don't make a lot of money. Then I had people in the chat who was like, you don't know, voice actors only make an average of this much. She's not the average voice actor. She's a AAA video game voice actor, and you're trying to compare her to the average voice actor? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's like comparing the average cashier to a Costco cashier. Costco people make like $20 an hour. Good company. You know what I mean? But you get my point? Then she started giving us a bunch of God stuff. One of her whole videos was just like Psalms 25, whatever, talking about how she's talking about how the people that she worked for were going to go to hell. It was crazy, right? Anyway, let's read this article. A pay dispute between the creator and a critically acclaimed video game series and star voice actor reignited a long, shimmering debate over wages in the industry. As is often the case in these sorts of disagreements, the details surrounding negotiations and casting for the upcoming game Bayonetta 3 are more complicated than what has been portrayed publicly. By the way, I think she broke a non-disclosure agreement, which is why all this stuff is going to start coming out. The feud spilled out into the open over the weekend when Hellena Taylor, the star of the first two Bayonetta games, said she would not appear in the next interaction. By the way, I kind of like the newer voice actress anyway. Don't care. Set to be released for Nintendo Switch on October 28th. She posted a series of videos Saturday on Twitter accusing Nintendo Corporation and the game's developer Platinum Games of offering her a total of $4,000 to reprise her role. She said she rejected the lowball offer and asked fans to refrain from buying the game. If you're someone who cares about people, who cares about the world around you, who cares about who gets hurt with these financial decisions, I urge you to boycott the game. Okay, Taylor said in one of the videos. The videos went viral, racking up more than 9.5 million views on Twitter. Taylor's story touched a nerve amongst gamers. Voice actors are beloved by fans, but fail to command anywhere close to what a Hollywood actor makes. Well, that makes sense. Game actors have long complained of being underpaid and underappreciated. Yeah, a lot of people in the video game industry are. That's kind of a video game industry problem. Some have said they receive little information about their roles until they show up in the recording booth. The industry operates in such a clandestine ways that actors sometimes won't even know what game they're recording lines for until it's released. Well, this issue has nothing to do with Bayonetta because this girl knows exactly what she's doing. Anyway, the tensions crested during contract negotiations in 2016 when the union representing many voice actors, the Screen Actors Guild, America's Federation of Television and Radio Artists, orchestrated a strike that lasted nearly a year. One of the sticking points was residuals, meaning compensation for actors when sales of a game outperform expectation. Voice actors gave up that fight in exchange for receiving bonuses based on the number of sessions they work. Oh, well, residual sounds a lot better in my opinion. In the case of Bayonetta 3, the developer appeared to be determined to rehire Taylor, according to two people familiar with negotiations as well as documentation reviewed by Bloomberg. Here's where the accounts differ. Platinum Games sought to hire Taylor for at least 5 sessions, each paying $3,000 to $4,000 for 4 hours in the studio. Okay, so we're talking about 5 sessions of about 30. Let's just lowball it to 3,000. So $15,000 for 15 hours. Now, I don't know. That could still be low. But she's already burned her credibility. If she said, "Hey guys, you know, they're lowballing me on this thing. They're only offering me $1,000 an hour, and I deserve $3,000 an hour because the game makes this much money, and like they should be paying us better," I would have been all for the honesty. I'd have been like, okay, that makes sense to me. If they're lowballing you based on what the industry standard says you should make, then I'm 100% on board with you. Thing is that doesn't sound woke enough, okay? She had to woke it up. Oh, they only offered me $4,000. They offered her $15,000 for a half week of work, apparently. Okay, that's what it seems like they offered her. They offered her like $15,000 for like half a week of work. You know, which again, it could be low, but like she didn't represent that. Wow. Said the people who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to discuss private contract negotiations. That would make for the total for the game at least $15,000. In response, they said Taylor asked for a six-figure sum as well as residuals on the game. Platinum declined and followed lengthy negotiations, took auditions for a new actor. Platinum later offered Taylor a cameo in the game for the fee of a one session, which she turned down. Sounded like she wanted way more than she should have gotten. Okay, let's see. What did she say? Bayonetta has made over like $300 million, right? I don't know. Listen, again, she might have been able to bargain better, but she lied. Maybe she was getting underpaid, but she lied. She assassinated that bridge. She burned through that bridge. In an email, Taylor described this account as an absolute lie and said Platinum was trying to save their ass and the game. She said she stood by everything she said in the video. I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me. Quite frankly, get on with my life in the theater, she wrote. Representatives for Platinum Games Nintendo didn't respond to the request for comment. Hideki, whatever, the executive director for Bayonetta 3, called Taylor's allegations sad and deplorable in Twitter posts. Listen, I tend to... Okay. Regardless, Taylor's comments resonated wildly, dominating headlines on gaming websites and even gracing the digital pages of TMZ. Several of Taylor's peers spoke out after the videos. Brian, somebody else who acted in Cyberpunk 2077 and Red Dead Redemption 2, said he was offered $4,000 to work on a non-union project for a big-budget game. Sean Chiplock, who voiced three characters in the Nintendo blockbuster Zelda, said he was paid about $3,000 for the job. I don't know how much I believe this. Is that how they talk about this stuff? They only got paid $3,000. Maybe that's true. It sounded like hers was much more lucrative. The Bayonetta series, beloved by fans and critics, but has never been a big commercial success. The Nintendo Switch version of Bayonetta 2. Oh, really? The first Bayonetta didn't do very well? Nintendo Switch version of Bayonetta 2, released in 2018, has sold just over 1 million copies, far fewer than many Nintendo's other offerings. For Bayonetta 3, the acting costs were higher than other projects because the studio relied on union performers, said three people familiar with the game's production, which meant a minimum of $900 for a 4-hour voice session plus bonuses. Oh, okay. So it sounds like it sounds like they're already doing more than the industry standard. They're paying union workers, so at least they're working within the union worker rights. Prominent actors or franchise stars like Taylor usually make more. Okay. Well, it sounds like they did. She was getting offered $4,000 for a 4-hour session, or $3,000 to $4,000 a session. They're only getting $900 for 4 hours, which is a lot. In her videos, Taylor mentioned Jennifer Hale, the prolific voice actor who took over Bayonetta in the new game. I wish her all the joy in the world. I wish her all the jobs, but she has no right to say that she's the voice of Bayonetta, Taylor said. I created that voice. She has no right to sign the merchandise as Bayonetta. Hale faced many vicious online harassment as a result. She wrote Monday on Twitter that she had signed a non-disclosure agreement and couldn't elaborate on the situation. I sincerely ask that everybody keep in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hardworking, dedicated people, and I hope everyone will keep an eye open about what they've created, she wrote. A few hours later, she retweeted a Twitter thread from another voice actor saying, if you only hear one side of or part of the story, you haven't heard the whole story. Listen, I don't know the specifics. They didn't officially make a response. They probably won't, but it sounds like Hellena Taylor lied. And she misrepresented it. So the first Bayonetta didn't do very well, and Nintendo financed the second game. Okay, well, I get that. Oh, well, you know what, Hellena, you're kind of a stinky poopy head, but you kind of have that victim complex mentality, so. Hashtag petty? A little petty much? Yeah, it does seem petty. It sounds like she wanted more money and maybe even deserved more money, but she inaccurately represented the situation, which makes her lose like all credibility about what's going on there. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching, and a special shout out to all my Patreon patrons, my YouTube members, and my Twitch subs. If you'd like to learn how you can contribute even more than you already are by simply watching the video, you can check the links down below, which will unlock a special feature depending on the platform that you subscribe to, such as Patreon here, that will get your name right here on this wall. Thank you so much, guys, again for watching, and have a good one.